Quick one for you guys today. The Celtics game starts in an hour, so real quick, I'm going to break down Anthony Edwards' huge 33-point scoring game. I'm going to try and do a video like this every day for the NBA playoffs, and if I don't, I'm a waste man. Anyway, let's get straight into this. Okay, so to start the game on this 33-point performance, he shows off his defense and his offense. Here, coming back in transition, the Suns look like they're clear on the break. They've got a 2-on-1 situation right here. With Devin Booker, usually this would be a shot right at the bucket, but you also have Bradley Beal attacking downhill and a simple bounce pass would be there. It's a simple 2-on-1 situation. Maybe playoff Booker just was a bit nervous in the moment. Because what does he do? He gives a little pump fake, and this gives the chance for 3 Timberwolves defenders to get back on defense. But it's not those 3 you need to worry about, because as KD enters the picture, Ant-Man is hunting him down. As the pass is being made, Ant has active hands. He creates the steal off Kevin Durant, gets the basketball. Now he comes the other way. His head's up, surveying the floor. He's looking at his teammates. He knows he's got options. He knows that Rudy Gobert is going to attack straight down the middle of the paint, and that's going to take Yusuf Nurkic with him. Mike Conley going to go to the corner. That's going to take this defender with him. So what does Ant do? It's a one-on-one situation. Gets to his left hand, pull up at the mid-range, knocks it down because Devin Booker's not on balance. All right, the next bucket, here we go. Ant-Man. He's left the defenders with a decision to make. Now, the Phoenix Suns' strategy to start this game, they didn't want Karl-Anthony Towns to get hot because we know he's capable of huge scoring performances. So Kevin Durant here is left with a choice of whether he closes out to Ant-Man or he stays kind of somewhat connected to Karl-Anthony Towns because Karl may cut to the hoop or he may just shoot the 3 ball as we know he loves. Nurkic doesn't really want to be out here on the perimeter. He's a big man. He really wants to be back in the paint, protecting the paint for when the other Timberwolves player get downhill. So Ant-Man sees all of this space. What does he do? He knocks it down. Easily done. Here we go again. Ant-Man gets the ball and they're leaving him with so much room. Guys, this is the NBA playoffs. Anthony Edwards has proven he's a superstar. Why are you treating him like he can't shoot the basketball? Because if you leave him open like this, he's going to shoot. But he just knocked down the last one. So this time, what does he do? He gets the defender to commit to the closeout. So now Beal's momentum is going this way. And he propels off this back foot here. This is what you see a lot of guys do. They take a little step back so they can explode out of it. And then he goes right by him. And this is a tough finish. Gobert is calling for the lob. Maybe that's the right play in this situation. But Ant-Man's a pure scorer. He's going to Euro step around Nurkic and finish inside with the great body control. Anthony Edwards here, matched up with Devin Booker. A little give and go action with Karl-Anthony Towns. He does a great job. Booker comes over the screen. And once Booker makes that decision to come over the screen, Ant-Man knows he's going to be trailing him. So now he is in front of Devin Booker. The only player between him and the basket is Bradley Beal, who's not really much of a rim protection threat. So Anthony Edwards continues attacking downhill. And again, these are options because Nickeil Alexander-Walker had a fantastic game. Is wide open in the corner. That could have been a pass, but instead, nice finish with the left. Anthony Edwards, now what they've done is a great job in this game of getting Yusuf Nurkic out of the painted area. So it frees up all of this space if Ant-Man wants to attack inside. So Gobert setting these high screens. They're getting into a screen roll, but instead of rolling after the first screen, as Ant gives up the ball, he comes back and sets another screen, which takes Bradley Beal out of the play. And now he splits the double team. Look at that. He finds that slither of a gap, goes through the middle, and now he's attacking downhill. One-on-one with the defender. Again, a wide open shooter in the corner. So Ant-Man has the choice whether he wants to spray to the corner or challenge Devin Booker, maybe get the Suns scorer in foul trouble by attacking at the hoop. So another Euro step move, this time finishing with his right off the glass, gets it to go. Anthony Edwards here, the same action again. Okay, the same action again. Gobert this time, though, with a little give and go, as Karl-Anthony Towns did earlier in the game. And this time they throw 2 defenders at him. 1, 2, right? So it's 2 defenders on him. And it's pretty hard. The Phoenix Suns are doing an okay job here because it's pretty hard for Ant-Man to get the ball to one of these guys on the perimeter through the sea of hands that's going to be in front of him. So what does Ant-Man do? He says, that's cool. I'm going to go to my Michael Jordan bag. I'm going to just pull up in the mid-range and finish that one. Here we go. This time going at Grayson Allen. He's surveying the court. A little hang dribble there, a little hezzy. And he attacks downhill with his left. Plants his feet. The defender's momentum is going this way, so he knows he can rise all the way up and get his shot off. He does that, and what I love about Ant-Man, he's bringing back the bank shots. Look, he's using the glass from these angles to make these easy baskets. Shout out to Tim Duncan, the OG with the bank shots. Well, obviously, there's more OGs than Tim Duncan, but I digress. Here we go, attacking at Devin Booker. He knows Devin Booker, you can't guard me. I'm the best shooting guard in the league. Here we go. He fakes the spin move. Boom. This is just in his bag. Gets the defender up off his feet. Devin Booker does a good job of contesting vertically, but that's not enough because now Ant-Man can just step through. And this move is not a travel, okay? It's not a travel. He can, once he's moved his pivot foot, he can take a step with that left foot, right? So here, this is his pivot foot. Boom. He can pivot through, and he's allowed to take a step off this foot and jump before this foot reaches the ground. A beautiful move that he's been working on and gets that one to go. Here we go. Again, this time, instead of faking the half spin that he did last time, he goes with it. Rises up, nothing you can do. That's young Michael Jordan right there. Right there. This is MJ's son. Now, the Suns want to throw Kevin Durant on him. They think, this guy's cooking us. Let's put a 7-foot defender on him with really long arms. Let's see if he can trouble him. And Anthony Edwards says, challenge accepted. All right. He sizes up Kevin Durant. And you see this little move here? This little move here, which is a little bit, maybe a little bit of a carry, but the little hezzy gets Kevin Durant's front foot. If you look at his front foot here, his front foot goes forward. He takes him off balance. And as soon as he does that, Ant-Man once again plants that back foot so he can explode off it, attacks downhill. And as he's doing that, KD's recovering. All his momentum's going that way. Ant-Man can stop on a dime. He's got those young knees that are still healthy. If I tried to do this, my ACL would snap. And he can rise up and knock that one down again. And he's looking at the crowd saying, who can guard me? Who can guard me? I'm here. This is the playoffs. I'm cooking. Again, Kevin Durant guarding him. This time he gets a screen from Gobert, but doesn't use it because you can see Kevin Durant is anticipating coming over the screen. He recognizes that, so he can go this way, and he knows Naz Reid is cutting downhill, so this defender is going to get dragged with him. So he rejects the screen. KD does a good job of staying with him, but just look at this crossover. Look at KD's position right here. This is just unbelievable from Ant-Man. He crosses back to his left, and then from his left, a little in and out, uses another screen. Gobert does a great job. Ant-Man comes around to his left, and this time, I don't know why, it's a miscommunication, because really and truly, if you're committed to staying with Ant, you should be coming back here to avoid the pass going out to the shooter. But miscommunication, there's a little bit of space now, and this is too much space to give a player like Anthony Edwards. And KD does a good job trying to contest, but he's just not close enough to him. His hand is right here, but he knows, Ant-Man knows that that's not blocking the ball. Boom. Anthony Edwards, hand down, man down. Again, KD's still on him, and this is just barbecue chicken. Look. It's just barbecue chicken. It's too easy. KD's so worried about him getting downhill, attacking to the mid-range, attacking to the hoop, that as soon as he gives that little between the legs, look at the separation again. That's too much separation for a player of Ant-Man's caliber. This is a wide open practice shot. He's going to knock that down with ease. Here we go. Now it's Bradley Beal's turn. Bradley Beal, you want to give him the same amount of space? He's in his rhythm. He's in his bag. His team's up 22 points. Thank you, sir. I'll take the extra 3 and we'll go home with that. And just one more for good measure. One more for good measure. And I want to shout out Rudy Gobert, who's a much improved defender on the perimeter. Because before in the playoffs, they used to say Gobert can't hang with guys on the perimeter. He's guarding Kevin Durant in this possession, right? And he pokes the ball away from Kevin Durant. Shout out to Rudy. Huge difference. But as soon as Ant-Man sees KD lose the ball, he's got one thing in his mind. He knows I'm quicker than KD. It's going to be a race to that ball. KD's got a head start. But guess what? I'm going to get there. And I'm going to get an easy bucket in transition. And he does exactly that. With the steal, the exclamation mark, and the Minnesota Timberwolves take game 1 of the NBA playoffs. But it's not just his scoring. There's a couple other things that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about his passing and a little bit of his defense while you're still here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about his playmaking, because this has been a criticism of Anthony Edwards in the past about his ability to make passes for his teammates. So let's have a look at some of the dimes that he dropped in this game, because his teammates had some fantastic performances. Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench, Naz Reid off the bench. He got his teammates involved. So let's take a look at some of his passing chops to see what he did. Okay, so bearing in mind that really quick breakdown of his scoring, let's see what he did when it comes to passing the basketball. And this is what happens when the Phoenix Suns throw 2 defenders at him. You've got 1 and you've got 2. Now, 2 defenders on Ant-Man's not a problem if he's in his operating areas that's kind of down here on what they call the boxes and the elbows in the mid-range. He's hitting those fadeaways. But he's not really a player that's going to shoot these tough threes, especially in this situation. It would be a silly move to do so. So he's patient with it. He's patient with it. He stays surveying the defense, and then he makes his move. And now he knows that he's got 1, 2, 3 defenders committed at him. But what's great is the recognition. Okay, Naz Reid is open in the corner, but that's not what he's looking at, because you've got Nickeil open in this corner. But the important part is Gobert is here to screen the defender who's going to try and close out on the corner shooter. Ant-Man sees this, and when he's in the air, he makes that pass to the corner. And even though Gobert ends up screening on Kevin Durant, who's trying to make the recovery, this man is still too deep because he was worried about Gobert rolling to the hoop. And that's a nice corner 3 to get his teammate involved in the game. Here we go this time. He's going to work right here on Royce O'Neal. But notice Eric Gordon is out of position. He's all the way over here, meaning Naz Reid has all the space in the world, and Naz Reid can shoot that basketball. So even if this defender tries to close out to Naz Reid, he's got enough time to get set, get his eyes on the target, and let it fly, even if the defender is closing out. Anthony Edwards recognizes this, so he's just lulling the defender to sleep. He's looking like he's about to go to work and score the basketball. And as soon as the defender's committed, look at where Eric Gordon is. See, as soon as he moves this foot, it's very subtle. As soon as this foot moves, you're going to see it. Look, he's planted that foot. Now it's here. That's when the pass is going to go. That extra half a step might be the difference in Naz Reid knocking this down or missing that. Fair play to Eric Gordon getting back out there, but it's just too late for an NBA shooter to be able to knock that down. This time, they once again bring 2 defenders to pressure Anthony Edwards, get the ball out of his hands. What does that do? That leaves open teammates available. He gives the ball up early this time, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker gets it back to Anthony Edwards. And now watch Eric Gordon. His attention, his eyes are solely on Anthony Edwards. He is not going to know what happens if Nickeil Alexander-Walker slides down or if he cuts. He's focused on the Ant-Man. Now, obviously, the spacing isn't ideal because you've got Gobert down low. And the obvious pass that many would think would be to go back to Naz Reid. But this time, instead, he gets Eric Gordon to commit. As soon as he's committed over here, his body position is moved across. He's looking to Anthony Edwards. That's enough space for an NBA shooter in the playoffs. Great closeout from Devin Booker, don't get me wrong. But it's just not enough. And guess what? The options are still there, because here, there's still the dump-off pass that goes to the teammate. So Anthony Edwards is making simple plays. It's not unbelievable passing, but it's just good, simple plays that if you throw 2 defenders at him, or if you load up on him, as you can see here, 2 defenders on him once again. Now, obviously, people are going to think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the easy option here, but that's a tough pass to make over the 2 defenders that are in the way of this pass. Now, if Anthony Edwards comes a little bit further down here, KD's got to make a decision. Do I stay attached to Naz Reid, or do I come across and help on Anthony Edwards? Anthony Edwards comes down. KD's kind of wary of it. Look, he's looking to lunge in, and more importantly, his eyes are looking at Ant-Man, and Ant-Man is going to find the corner shooter. Naz Reid knocks that down. Again, you want to throw 2 defenders at him. You want to help across here and leave a wide open shooter at the 45. I don't know why this was in the Phoenix scheme, because these guys can knock down wide open shots. This is the NBA playoffs. You got to be a lot slicker than that if you want to get away with beating the best defensive team in the league, but they got a guy on offense who can absolutely cook. But speaking of defense, let's get into a little bit of Ant-Man's defense. You already saw in some of the scoring clips that Ant-Man comes up with those steals, especially like the last clip I showed you, where he came up with a steal, and the first clip I showed you, in fact, came up with another steal that just gets him easy points in transition when the defense isn't set. Let's have a little deeper look at another thing that he did that caught my eye. Okay, so the Timberwolves have the #1 defense in the league. This isn't going to be a full defensive breakdown. As I said, the Celtics game starting in a sec. So this has been like a 10-minute, 12-minute breakdown that I've been trying to do super quick, but let's have a look at something that jumped out to me when I was watching Anthony Edwards, and you're going to see why it's an ironic pun that I said jumped out, and I apologize. I'm speaking a bit quickly on this one, and if English isn't your first language, I'm deeply sorry. But we're here. We're going to keep it moving. You can watch the video in slow motion if I'm talking too quick. But let's get this one cooking. Okay, this is a sidelines out of bounds play for the Phoenix Suns. Now, credits to Bradley Beal. He's done a good job here making this cut. Anthony Edwards isn't really looking, but he's looking at where the ball's going to go. This should be a straight lob pass over here. But I don't know if Grayson Allen, his passing ability is that good that he can make that. Instead, Devin Booker comes around Jaden McDaniels. He does a great job of being physical. If you look at where Devin Booker has placed his elbow on the side of McDaniels' body, he can hook it around to get a defender out of position. Great job from Devin Booker. But guess what? That's not enough. Because now Anthony Edwards has seen that once even though Bradley Beal is here, Devin Booker's eyes are firmly on the basketball. He's not really looking to see where his teammate is. He's going to get the ball and try and score a layup. So Anthony Edwards commits to the contest. And just look at the verticality. He does a great job of challenging without fouling, gets up and does enough to bother the shot, enough for it to miss. Now, these don't come up as blocks in the stat sheet, but they are vital possessions nonetheless. Here we go again. Ant-Man is guarding Eric Gordon, but they don't want Devin Booker to get going because much like the Suns didn't want Cat to get going because he's capable of 50, 60 in a game, we know Devin Booker is capable of big scoring performances too. And this time also, he's being guarded now by Rudy Gobert, who has improved on the perimeter, but you might need to give him a little bit of help against the quicker players. This time here, okay, they've committed 2. Rudy's off his feet. He's going up there. He's got 2, and there's a wide open lane to the hoop for the big man here because Naz Reid has to stay out on this shooter. So Ant-Man stunts like he's going to go back. Look, he starts moving and shifting back. He plants 1 foot there so that Devin Booker is deterred from making that tough pass over 2 defenders. And he's making the easy pass now to Eric Gordon. But Ant-Man's athleticism, just look at that, right? Imagine trying to shoot a three-pointer with that. You've got Anthony Edwards, who's jumped ridiculously high in the air, a Michael Jordan type jump with his giant hand towering at you, and it does enough to bother the shooter, force the miss. Once again, he does a great job of stunting in the lane. That's where you plant this foot, the inside foot, to cut off the drive, to deter Devin Booker from coming downhill. And then as soon as he's done that, he's going to recover out to the shooter. He does the same thing, gets up, a good contest, a fantastic pump fake here for Eric Gordon. But now, here's the difference, right? For most players in the NBA, this is a knockdown 3 right now. But Ant-Man, instead of falling into the crowd, he stays with the possession. And he's once again lunging at the shooter. Now, I don't know how much this actually bothers the shooter because he's behind him and he's not really in his line of vision. But he did enough through the second defensive effort to force the miss. And he doesn't have a lazy foul hitting him on the back of the head. He did enough there to force the miss. And it's those effort plays that you really have to bring in the NBA playoffs. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe because like I said at the start, we're going to be doing breakdowns of a lot of stuff that happens. This one was very quick, very basic. There's going to be more detail coming. There's going to be more videos coming. Let me know in the comments what videos you want to see. I'll do a breakdown of what I think is maybe the best performance or the most interesting part of the games that happened that day. Now it's time for my Celtics to go up against the Miami Heat. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie to you because Eric Spoelstra is a madman. Let's go Celtics. Celtics in 4, inshallah. Subscribe to the channel and get buckets.